to Mr. 96's Pop Reviews. My name is Mr. 96. Whenever I make my first song review of a new year, I tend to pick a song from late in the previous year as it takes a few months for newer hits to cycle in. Plus, the charts haven't exactly moved that much in 2022, but that's a conversation for another day. Unlike last year when I didn't upload my first pop review proper until the end of April, I made sure to get this review out much sooner than that as I have massive plans this year. Yes, March is still kind of late, but it's about the process, not the outcome. Anyways, even during the last few months of choosing a song to review, there was one in which I had to discuss, and this man is definitely no newcomer to this channel. Now, Ed Sheeran has been around for a long time. I've reviewed some of his songs in the past, and while he's a superstar who doesn't need any introduction from me, I feel like now's a good time to talk about him as my thoughts on his music have evolved over the years. I was initially afraid that this song would become massively irrelevant once I finally uploaded this, but it has only just left the top 10 after who knows how many months. So instead of beating around the bush, let's get right into it as we talk about Shivers by Ed Sheeran.
An arrow to the heart. I never kissed a mouth that tastes like yours.
From the get-go, it's another love song of his, but unlike his ballads such as Thinking Out Loud or Perfect, this track is much more upbeat and energetic. Ed is no stranger to lively tunes, having made a club jam with Pharrell back in 2014, and over the years, he's evolved from just a typical folk singer to a genuine pop star, so this kind of song shouldn't be surprising to hear.
I wanna stay up all day and all night. Yeah, you got me singing like.
With Shivers in particular, he's describing the nerve-wracking yet wonderful sensation he feels when he's close to this girl, but he manages to really sell a joyous atmosphere that's not just for the woman in question, but for everyone to enjoy. If you're wondering what my initial surface-level impressions of this song are, I would say that it sounds pretty stupid.
I wanna be that guy. I wanna kiss your eyes. I wanna drink that smile.
One notable aspect that differentiates Ed Sheeran from other artists is his lyricism. Ed has a very distinctive writing style in the way he characterizes his interactions and feelings, which is why he's such a massive figure in the world of music. And while that's nice and fancy on the surface, it's all window dressing that sometimes overstates things that aren't actually appealing.
Ooh, I love it when you do it like that. And when you're close up, give me the shivers.
Give me the shivers. Now what does that really mean? Well, if you take the conventional definition of the verb, it is to shake slightly and uncontrollably as a result of being cold, frightened, or excited. Seeing as it's about a girl, I'd assume he's trembling with excitement when she's near, but if you're like me and read into the context of the song, what I actually think he's saying is that he's having an orgasm. Since I'm not the most up-to-date person with slang, I looked on Urban Dictionary and read the top definition from 2006. The cold feeling one has for a second after an orgasm. Man, after me and Susie were at it, I got the shivers. Sounds about right, and you can absolutely picture Ed letting it out when he encounters the pretty lady.
Ooh, I love it when you do it like that. And when you're close up, give me the shivers.
Yes. To be fair, the guy has always used songwriterly phrases to discuss his horny side. Have you ever really listened to the lyrics in Shape of You?
Last night you were in my room, and now my bedsheets smell like you.
Desiree.
Oh baby, you wanna dance till the sunlight cracks. And when they say the party's over, then we'll bring it right back.
And like most dance tunes, he has to remind you to bring it right back or keep the party going, implying that Ed's this hot, sexy party chad. Shivers has persisted on the charts for over 6 months, as I guess Ed's brand of acoustic dance pop is supposedly that infectious. But because of its longevity, you finally get to hear me analyze Ed Sheeran getting lewd. That's the Mr. 96 content you subscribed for. To tell you the truth, I actually wanted to review an Ed Sheeran song last September, as my original plan was to review Bad Habits for my 6th anniversary.
My bad habits lead to late nights sitting alone.
No kidding, I had about a decent chunk of the script done, and I was planning to fill out the rest of it in August. Unfortunately, that is when I hit massive writer's block. At first, it was enough to delay the episode, which is why I ended up reviewing Montero for the anniversary instead. But even though I still plan to write a late September, early October review for Bad Habits, it just got to the point where I gave up and moved on to 2000's childhood pop. As for why that writer's block hit me, I'm still trying to figure that out now, but I think I have an idea. It's that whenever I talk about Ed Sheeran in my videos, I consistently have no idea. After 6.5 years on YouTube, I've come to realize that Ed Sheeran is by far the hardest artist for me to review. Not because I like or dislike his music, but because my opinions on said music change all the time. I still kick myself for my thoughts on his Divide hits from 2017. When I heard Shape of You, I also thought it was bad like everyone else and named it a dishonorable mention in my worst list, but holy shit, I was too kind as that song has become so insufferable it should have made the list proper. Because of my disgust for Shape of You, I didn't even give a second listen to Castle on the Hill as I only thought it was alright at the time. But after watching a bunch of best lists that year, I listened to it again and thought, wait a minute, this song actually is that damn good, and I'm a fucking idiot for not putting it on my best list. Now you may be wondering how that relates to Bad Habits. Well, when I originally wrote that script, it was going to be a highly positive review as I had heard that song when I was in a very dark place. I had just lost my previous job due to my own negligence, my sleep schedule was a fucking wreck, I had only uploaded 3 videos all year at that point, and I hit the bottom to where I finally sought out therapy. To put it lightly, I listened to the song when I was at my lowest point in which I had developed my own personal bad habits, so in regards to the lyrical content of the song, it hit me at just the right time. But now that I've at least gotten past the valley of my struggles, I had to sit back and realize, why does Ed's voice sound so bad in this?
Or do my bad habits lead to white eyes staring into space?
I don't know if other people have pointed this out specifically, but Ed Sheeran does not sound good when he has to sing high notes for an entire song, and this one is all head voice with nothing to offset it. I know I'm gonna say something incredibly damning and possibly offensive here, so here it goes. Ed singing in Bad Habits gives me similar vibes to Pat Monahan singing in Hey Soul Sister. Yeah, I went there. Granted, it's not nearly the disaster that is Hey Soul Sister, but it definitely has the same vocal issues in that both singers spend a majority, if not all of the time, at the upper portion of their vocal range, which grates on the ears and annoys you very quickly. So when I listen to something like Shivers, part of me hesitates to call it a truly bad song as it's definitely less frustrating than Bad Habits from a musical standpoint, but my issue is more that the lyrics are chock full of lame Sheeranisms that I can't call it charming either. Take the pre-chorus for example. I wanna kiss your eyes, I wanna drink that smile, your lipstick stains on the front lobe of my left side brains, same energy. And that conflict of how I feel is the quintessential Ed Sheeran experience for me as I don't know what I'm supposed to say. If you want even more evidence of how Ed Sheeran continues to befuddle me, why do you think it took so long for me to make this video? Like I said, I didn't want to delay this episode to April like I did last year, but it still took over a month for me to write this review, and a lot of that had to do with me not knowing what to say. Unlike last year where my mind was creatively bankrupt, this time I had lots of ideas of how to structure the video. The problem is that Ed Sheeran provoked so many mixed opinions in my head that I couldn't come up with a proper premise or thesis. So it really just came down to, write how my point is that I don't have a point. So there you go. At this point, I would give my conclusions and a rating on the 96 scale, but considering my history with Ed Sheeran, I'm not going to. Shivers by Ed Sheeran is not a good song, as far as I know. Cause I don't fucking know. All I know is that Ed Sheeran confuses me, so trying to decipher his music is a losing effort that I'm not even gonna try to fight. The song is lame, and I can't imagine it changing much from that. Or it could end up on my best list at the end of the year as far as I'm concerned. In other words, don't listen to anything I say, I'm just a moron.
When they say the party's over, then we'll bring it right back. Yeah.
I appreciate the patience for this review, but I'm glad to say that the next video will be my season debut of 2000's childhood pop. So with that being said, I want to give massive thanks to my patrons on Patreon for all their support. For just $1 per video, you can join my patron-only Discord server where we chat and chill, and at $2 per video, you get to vote on what songs I review for my series 2000's Childhood Pop. At $5 per video, you get to be listed in my Names of Fame, and at $10 per video, you get a personal shout through the heart along with Jason Semler and Prideful Zella. Voting for the next episode will be different this time. Instead of choosing one patron rep to go against 3 holdover songs, you'll now suggest 3 patron reps to go against 1 holdover. So to all my $2 patrons and above, click the link in the description below to help suggest which song I'll review. Once again, I'm Mr. 96. If you want to see more pop reviews, click the subscribe button below and tap that bell to be notified when I drop a new episode. Anyways, I'm excited about what's to come as we can finally get this year started. Pop songs may come in numbers, but there's only one. 96.
너의 그 말 그 잔인한 말 가슴 아픈